There's a little Christmas music. Hey, top of the evening to you, or middle of the evening to you, actually, unless you're on the West Coast, and then it's about dinner time, so I'm interrupting your soup. I just had a cup of gumbo that Yaya, the bon vivant herself, just made. She has, I've been sequestered to the upstairs studio again because tonight's a Tuesday night. It's the second Tuesday of the month when Bella Cucina, the beautiful kitchen, takes place. So the house is, they're having their Christmas celebration. I'm sharpening a couple little watercolor pencils here, painting a Christmas scene tonight. So if you're joining me, you're going like, has he lost his cotton picking mind? Well, it's 8:57 somewhere, but it's 8:57 here on the East Coast. And I've got a couple of Christmas paintings that I've been working on, and I'm working on one right now. I thought I'd just show you how to paint a little Christmas scene. And so I'm sharpening the pencils the old-timey way. I kind of like that. That's kind of a fun way to sharpen pencils. So let me just say good evening from Roo. There you go. Bloop. I think it pops up. So glad you got a little time. So get your second bowl of gumbo. Like I said, I just had Carol made some great gumbo. They're having a quick little dinner tonight, and part of it is then they're going to do a little Christmas celebration. This is the last one of the year, the Bella Cucina. Then it'll be 2023 when the women get together again. These ladies come in, and Carol helps them just learn to be adventuresome in the kitchen. Kind of like the way I paint watercolor, except I like eating her stuff better than my paintings. So, here we go. This is a nice surprise. Corky Stonebreaker says, Corky, I wish my name was Stonebreaker. B-R-A-K-E-R. That's like stop a stone. No, that's not break a stone in half. I like that. Stone stopper. Hey, I just thought I'd come on in the evening a little bit. I told you I wasn't going to paint Mondays during the month of December anymore in the morning. So I thought Tuesday evening sounds kind of fun just to jump on and kind of roust about a little bit. So here we go. I've let this Mike Paramore. Hey, man, think of you every time I paint a bee. Over there, I have my little bee painting from you. I love it very much. Thank you. I'm up to 70 something, 774, 75 maybe. So, hey, Bonnie, thanks for being on the show late in the evening. All right, so being probably a smaller show, that's kind of fun. I'm going to jump in on a little Christmas painting here. I painted it a few days ago, and several people have asked for it, so I'm going to paint it again, but I'll show you a couple more that I've been working on. I think there's 2 or 3 lined here. There's one that's an auction today that ends at night. Oh, yeah, I have to look that up. The auction ends, I didn't want to end it right at 8:57 because I was starting the show. So it ends at 8:57 tonight. Let's see, here it is. Yeah, it's, there it is right there. Can you see it? Yeah, it's a little, it's this little tree that says leaning a bit, but I like it. We got our Christmas tree up this week. And I wasn't kidding when I put on there that we, on our Christmas tree, let's see. Oh, I didn't put that on there, did I? Oh, sorry. I thought I did. Oh, and I'll put it on the Instagram. We have, I think there's 900 white lights. I've never known any tree but white lights since I married Carol a long time ago. And so, getting closer to a whole hive. Mike Paramore says, I love it. So here, yeah, I missed this. You had to just jump on. No, I thought somebody might want to know how I paint these little one of these little holiday things, and I'll tell you about the paper, and I'll tell you what I'm using to make the Christmas stars. So there's a little surprise for you in that. Here's the thing. What was I talking about before I interrupted myself? Oh, yeah, we put up our Christmas tree. I should have flashed a picture over there to show you. And so, and I'm going to say hello to some of you in just a minute. But what we did was when I married Carol, she said, I really want to change the Christmas tree from how my parents did it because everybody just put on the colored lights. And she said, I don't want all the colors. I really want to tell a story. Does that sound familiar? I really want to paint a painting that tells a story. I want a picture when people come in our home that a tree tells a story. So we used white lights and then only stars. and they're silver or reflecting stars, some gold stars, but most of them are clear and some are glass, and some of them are made, some are polymer, and the light goes in behind the star and then it shines. I'll show you a picture first of the week. I've got some on my phone, but I don't think it would do it justice here. I can't shoot it to my there's no way I can get it up to the computer right now without messing something up big time, but I shot several pictures of it, and there it is right there. Yeah, it's not even going to focus there, but it looks so bright. But all this is just stars and white lights. And I think on this small tree, it's about a 9-foot tree, there's about 900 lights, so that's about 100 lights a foot, and then about 300 stars. And about 150 stars, I had my last sip of eggnog, and I went, I think I'm done. She goes, I'm putting the rest of these on here. And I'm going like, no, you don't want to lose all the trees. She goes, it's about the star. It's Christmas. It's about the star. So that's what I'm going to paint tonight. So here we go. Thanks for being on the show. Got a few of you piled on. Corky, I said hello. Linda, Mike Paramore said hello to you. And Bonnie and Denise. Happy Wednesday evening, Denise. You're watching me, and you didn't have to get up at 5:45. And Denise, Michelle is in the house tonight. She is literally downstairs having a cup of gumbo. Jane Hedricks, Pauline Bold, hi from rainy, sleety, snowy, windy Minnesota. Minnesota up there, where they don't drink sodas, they drink pop. Yeah, hunkered down. All right, well, glad you're hunkered down. Linda, thank you for being on. James O. Wade Jr., love it when you're on here. And Heather Fulbert, is it Fulbert? Hey there, good evening, she says. Love to have you on the show. Here we go, little Christmas painting. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do, the whole stage. So here we go. As long as I paint with you, probably, I don't know, maybe 40-something minutes or an hour. Time just flies when I do this. Say hush and start painting. This is a Pentel Inner Gel. If you don't have anything to write with, why are you watching my show if you don't have a pen and a pad nearby? Have you not learned anything? Okay, so this is a Pentel 05 Intergel needle tip, Needle, needle tip. Don't be writing with the ballpoint pen unless you just want to. I shouldn't say don't, because you can write with anything you want. You can prick your finger with a pen and write in blood if you want red, that color. I don't care. But I'm telling you, this pen, I love it because it bleeds. So here we go. I'm just going to do a little hillside here like this. And then I'm going to do a little road coming down the mountain. So that's going to set the stage for my, and I learned to do that in the Appalachians. And so then I'm just going to put a little bit of a manger area back here, kind of like this, maybe a little fence line and a stone over here. And then over here, I'm going to put a couple outbuildings, like this is maybe the standalone. I'm mixing Eastern architecture. That would be the Israeli architecture that was mostly stone and mud and clay. I'm mixing it with a little bit of the Appalachian Renaissance of the manger scene, which looks a little more wooden to us, but I don't think it was. I think it was mostly stone, and I think Jesus was born in a cave is what I really think, underneath the house where the animals lived, because you didn't want those animals living too far away from your house. So see, I'm drawing this little thing. If you can see it, it's already looking a little Bethlehem-y there, doesn't it? Bethlehem-y. And there's an E in Bethlehem, not an A. There's no ham in Bethlehem. You can remember it that way. Bethlehem means house of bread. Did you know that? So I know all these things. It helps me sort of paint my Christmas sketch. I put a couple palm trees in there because they have palm trees there. When I lived in Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida, right to just 20 miles north of St. Augustine, about 32 degrees latitude, if you did a string on your globe around like this, you would see that it was really close to the same latitude as Israel. And so some of the sand and some of the palm trees and the fronds and all that is kind of the same thing. I'm going to draw a little manger here, and I'm going to do a little wooden manger because that's what we're sort of all familiar with. The wooden manger is, it wasn't really a wooden manger, I don't think. I think it was probably a rock basalt manger wrapped with padding and straw. And so pretty cool, huh? How you hear things and you think things. When we think that Joseph and Jesus were carpenters, it's probably, they were probably more like a tecton, a stonemason, or an artificer, worked with anything they had. An artificer, isn't that a good word? And so because there wasn't a whole lot of wood there, if you've gone to Israel, you know that there's saplings and sticks, but they didn't have big sawmills and timbers, even for the temple. If you remember, if you read the Old Testament, they had to bring in the timbers to build that out of. So in just a minute, I'm going to come in and I'm going to put some more to this. But I'm going to come down here and I'm going to make the stars of the show, really the stars right here. But I'm going to do the people who are telling the story are these two little peeps that are going to be right here. And there's one of them. This is how I draw little peeps. I just do a little beak and then I draw the little, and I'm literally just letting my pen dance around. And this one seems to be walking, which is where I want him to go. And this one's looking on up the hill a little bit, so he's kind of looking this way. So they recognize what's going on up there. This is the one that I painted just the other day for some folks who bought it on an auction. And a friend of mine said, please, I was on the road and I couldn't bid on it, and would you pay me another one of those? I'll pay the auction price. I just need that because I raise chickens, and I've been using my chickens to tell my kids the Christmas story, and I get, you got me hooked at chickens, I'm in. And Christmas story. So there is my start of my painting. You can see it right there. I'm going to make sure that's in focus. Can we do that? That's pretty close. All right. Sorry, there's a big old glob here. I should have cleaned my desk off, but that's where I was doodling on the phone today. I do that. All right. So let's see. Beverly Schmidt, welcome. Gracie, thanks for being on the show. John Robert Small, hey, man. Good to have you on the show. So here's the thing. I'm going to just lay some color in this, and then I'm going to come back in. I'm going to start up here and let it come down this way, and then I'm going to pick it up, and while this dries, I'll come back to it. So look at this. I'm just putting some rough stuff in here, just some drops with my pen. Remember I said this pen bleeds, and so I got enough room to write my caption here, and now I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to hold up just for a second. I'm going to grab... Here's the trick I want to show you. Some of you have been painting Christmas stars, and you've been kind of, doing the star. This is a typical star. You kind of go like this. I drew these when I was in school. You kind of go here and here. And then, I'd draw big ones like this, and I'd connect all these pieces, and I'd connect this up to here, and then I'd connect this down to here, and then I'd do another little piece here, and I'd do another. That's not bad for a Christmas star, see? What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a similar thing here, where I'm just going to come in, and then I'm just going to make extra little bits in here. And I'm going to beef this up a little bit, and this coming down, and then I'm going to get it to sort of shine yellow, white a little bit. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to use watercolor pencil. Could I paint it with a number 3 brush? You bet I could, okay? I could grab a number 5, even a number 5 there, but I'd probably take a number 3, let's see, where is it? Liner brush, or even a number 1 liner would be fantastic. Wow. Look at this one right here. This is a number 1 liner brush, and look when this brush is laid out. Look at that. Okay, so I'm going to use that to finish my watercolor pencil. So I'm going to take a little bit of just a light pencil and just run down the star, because I think it's coming down from right here, just like this. I'm just running it down a little bit. It's so light that you're going to have a hard time seeing it, but I'm going to beef it up a little bit here in the manger scene, just like so. I'm going to put on a little music here if you don't mind, just to have a little bit to kind of paint along with. Keep it turned down. If it's too loud, let me know. Hello, all just happened to check Roo out, and there he was. Oh, wait. I think I had an auction that ended. Did I just have an auction that ended? Let's see. Somebody got a great deal on this painting today. I love it when somebody just walks off with a Christmas gift like this, and so that's always fun. Wait a minute. I got to go here, go here, go here, and then turn it in. And it looks like, boom, looks like Tammy Crandall just won today's painting. So I'll send her a reply. I'll say, hey, Tammy, thank you. Send me an email. Awesome. Roo, whoops, at, I better tell her where, huh? I like this piece of music. Roodoodles at, sorry, I'm having to do this. If I don't talk to myself, I'll spell it wrong. I think the whole world should be a spelling bee. Okay, there it is. All right, so here we go. Can you see that yellow line coming in right there? And I'm picking up a little bit to blow out of here like this because I think the real light's coming from there. But here we go. And then I'm going to take this one. So this, I'm going to tell you what it is. This is it's a Kimberly. It's a General's Kimberly watercolor pencil, and it's number 713 yellow. I told you if you had a pen, you could write this down. This is the reason I didn't like that one. Yeah, and this one here is a Royal watercolor. I've got a whole set of Prisma watercolor somewhere, and I have some Yasutoma Niji watercolor pencils somewhere. I gave some of those away just recently. So I'm going to put the cross on this right here. It's a little more orange, and I'm going to do this like this. I'm going to bring it out just a little bit, beef this piece up a little bit, just let it run off the page. Whoever frames this will that one will start off the page, come in like this, grab this down, come in like that. That's going to be my star. Can you see that coming down? You can't see it much, but I'll tell you when you're going to see it. It's when I lay some water to it there in a little bit. All right, let's go in and paint a little bit, and then I'll come down and make it go from there. I'm going to take a number 3 brush. This is just a nylon number 3 brush, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to pull a little bit of just gray and brown together and just make a kind of a tan little box here, right here, just up here on this, and then same with this building right here. Look at this. Just kind of a little gray and a little bit of some, I think that was copper penny and a little bit of gray. Let me show you what I did. Look, just took a little bit of French gray right here, and I put a little drop of it right there. Cleaned out my brush and went over and got some of this copper penny and just pulled it over into that like that. And then I'm going to go back and get a little more of that gray and just put it right in there. And that's gave me the tan that I wanted for those buildings. I just really wanted it to be kind of that color. And then where it's a little darker, I'm going to bring some of that into sand, go in with a little more of this color right here, and start to bring that down just like this a little bit. What I'm doing is I'm just dirtying up the lawn here. I'm making it look like your wintertime lawn. And then I'm going to grab a bigger brush. I'm not going to waste any more time with this. I'm just going to bring some water down. I've got this is a number 1 Yasutoma bamboo brush, and I'm just bringing it down like this, sweeping it in, just picking up a little bit of this and some gray, some brown, coming down here, just making this kind of the dirty old road bed coming down like that. This is a little outside my road. I'm going to dump some of that off. Oh, you know what? I just made a big mistake. That's funny. That's all right. We'll just live with it. We'll see what happens. You remember where I sharpened my pencil in that napkin? I was going to use it, but I forgot that it was the paper towel. So I dropped some little yellow colors in here, and I'm just going to let them explode. It's going to create some yellow in here. It's like having those little paints that they shake out, those little colors that you could buy. I have some here. All right. And maybe a little bit of Payne's Gray underneath here for some shadow. And there we go. We just about got that thing down to where we wanted. A little bit of green on these trees because even though it's in the evening, we assume it was. We think the baby was born at night. We don't know, do we? It was all painted that way. See, there's so much we don't know. All right, here we go. I need to pick that piece up right there. It's going to bother me. It's not a piece of paint. It's a piece of wood from the pencil. All right, I got it. So you see where it's starting. Look, it's having a little bit of a good feel to it already. See it going in there like that? Got a little bit dirty down here. Becky McHenry Smith, glad you're on the show. Marie Piker, thanks for being here. Cam Lawson, just mailed you something. Laurie Belushi, thank you for being on the show. My gosh, you guys are piling on. Susan Peters. Donna Buckley, you just saw that I used Payne's Gray. There you are. Sammy Ulster, thanks for being on the show. And here we go. All right. Yeah, I just jumped on Tuesday night for a little change here because I'm not painting on Mondays anymore for a while. And you needed a break from me, and I needed a break from you. That's as simple as I can put it. Now, I've just got this little bitty brush, and I was going to use this number 1 here. So I've got this number 1, and it's a rigger, R-I-G-G-E-R. A rigger brush is used to make a straight, beautiful line. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm just going to grab some red here. Watch this. I'm just going to come down the page just like this. Look. See that? Beautiful little line. So I'm going to clean that out really well. And I'm going to go in. I'm not even going to grab any paint because I've got my pencil here that I used. So I'm just going to come in and I'm letting some of this dance off there. And I'm getting a lot of water in that pen on this piece of paper. By the way, this is Kilimanjaro paper. It comes in a hardback journal like this, but it has less cotton in it. It's 140 pound. It's Kilimanjaro paper, but it's without the cotton, and so it lets the ink stay open a little longer if you're not careful, and it'll lay there and it'll pick up and run with you a little bit. So I'm just bringing this down just a little. I'm going to put a little bit of gamboge in there, just letting that strike come down like this, and then I'm going to take a little gamboge here, and I can do this with my watercolor pencil probably. Let's see, this one right here, the 713, and bring in some stripes where that whole area is just sort of exploding in color. Can you see that? I like it where this yellow and meets the green grass that I put in there, and it's blowing against that, and maybe a little yellow shadowing on these pieces right here. I'm going to have to change that right there because I can see that when I turned it over to show you the paper, I made a mistake, didn't I? Let's just add another tree in there. I made a boo-boo. Do they still say that in school? I don't know. But I just made one. So there it is. Now I'll just put a tree behind it and we're in great shape, huh? Little doorway right there. I'm going to let this dry a little bit, and I'll show you why in just a second. I'll show you in just a minute. But I'm going to come down here and put these little roos together. And all it's going to take for that is me to come in here, and I'm going to use a number 3 nylon, and I'm just going to go get some gamboge. And I'm just going to brush these little guys sporadically. I'm leaving some white spaces. What do we call that? Holidays. I'm leaving some holidays in there. See the difference? It makes them light and airy. It doesn't make them look like you just colored them with a coloring book somewhere. I'm going to grab a little bit of this copper penny. I'm going to go in and I'm just going to do the beak in that. And the reason is most little Peeps beaks are a little darker when they're born. And also I paint them like that, so it's not just everything's the same color. I want it to be offset a little bit. And I'll do the same thing with their legs, just a little touch right there. I'm going to let that dry, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to put a little more yellow in there in just a second, okay? And lost my concentration when I dropped that yellow on the page from my sharpening my pencils. So it is what it is. You're always going back in to touch up little areas, and if I get it too heavy, I can just touch it with this paper towel and erase it. So there's coming along. You see that? Okay. All right. Now, I think what this star needs is just a little more bright yellow right in the middle. So I'm just going to go in here with this little, wait a minute, where is it? Here it is, a little liner. This is the number 1 rigger. It's American Journey brush from Cheap Joe's. It's nylon. It's not a sable brush at all. I think it's probably $12-14. Should last you for 10 years if you treat it nicely. Okay, 6. All right, 5. But look how beautiful that just stripes. You know, they call it a liner brush because it's what those guys used when they were doing race cars back in the 60s and making hot rods. And now just let this star come on out just a little bit. You probably can't see what I'm seeing, but there's some long little pieces that are running out in the middle here that really look like they're supposed to look in this star. Just, it's blowing out in every direction. There's a Facebook hoax today. I saw that the star is supposed to appear on the 23rd. You're like, seriously, people? Oh, goodness gracious. Don't believe what you hear on Facebook, okay? Sometimes you can't even believe me. I'm on Facebook. You know, I really don't see much of Facebook. I just see my page. I see Roo's Crew. That's about it. Oh, and Brad. Brad's the weather guy. If you want to follow a fun weather guy, he's Brad. All right. Brad's a dear friend of mine, and he did a great write-up today about the star. And so let me just tell you who he is. His name is Brad Panovich. And so if you want to follow somebody across the country who does more than just our weather, but is into space, he's into all sorts of things, and he is just cool. Brad Panovich, tell him that Roodoodles said follow him. Because if you're watching him at home give his thing, there's a Roodoodles back on his shelf. I painted one for him a long time ago. And so anyway, I could go to Brad's page and Brad Panovich, meteorologist. There he is right there. Brad Panovich, Panovich. He's got 267,000 followers, for heaven's sakes. But he goes to middle schools and he teaches kids about. He's an awesome dude. I like his whole family. They're pretty cool people. So anyway, send him a note sometime. Say, hi, I'm in Minnesota. Is it snowing here today? He'll get a kick out of that. All right. Tell him I said give him a holler. All right. So now I have my painting there, and you can see that the inside of this is lit up, and I let it dry a little bit. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with my 05 Pentel pen again. This is that needle tip, and I'm going to put some sheep in there because that goes with my painting today. And then I'm going to come back and do a little bit more on these peeps here to make them look like they've got their act together just a tad more. I want them just a little beefier, and I'm going to add a couple colors to them, do a little detail on them. Put some more earth down here under that. But I'm going to come in right now and I'm going to do these little sheep. Now, here's how I'm going to do the sheep. You see right here on this piece of paper, I'm just going to come in here and I'm just going to do this little sheep head like this. And then I'm just going to do a little body like so. And I'm just going to put 4 legs on them. And they're going to be so far away that you can't even tell they're not sheep because you can't see. Oh, but that one's perfect. It just looks like exactly like a little sheep. Especially now that I've told you that it's a sheep. You're look at all those sheep. And there's a man standing with the sheep right there. Here's one on this side. You know who they would be. They would be the people who came first to this birth. The angel didn't send after the kings. He didn't send Uber out for, the local dignitaries, the mayors, the congressmen, and the TV cameras and all that stuff. He sent for the shepherds, and they came. And he says, there's something happening. You got to go see it. And so, some of them brought sheep with them. They ran and left, and they never leave their sheep. And a good shepherd never does that. And by the way, this shepherd's field of where these guys were is only just a short stone's throw from where these guys were. So they were close by. They were in proximity, and they could get there. Pretty cool, isn't it? It's just an amazing story, actually. All right, so there is a little nativity scene. Let me see if I can just get you a close-up on it. Here we go. Ready? Stand by for the sheep appearing. There they are. Hey, Jason, glad to have you on, man. All right. Look at this. There it is right there. Those are those little sheep right there. Boom. See, they're all looking in one direction. They know where their shepherd is. And so my point is, let me get this back in focus down here now. There they are. See this little guy right here? Let me get this liner brush. Look at this little guy right there at the end of that brush. If you've ever seen a sheep, that's a sheep right there. So there they are. All right. Now I'm going to grab some of this little orange that I already have mixed up over here. Let me show you. I keep a couple pans sort of open. This one I keep the side open. I'm sorry. This one I keep the side open right here, because I'll take a little bit of that gray sometimes and I'll bring it over and I'll just mix it right here. I mix very, very little in a pan, in a palette. Most of my mixing, I almost dipped that in my tea, so I'm going to drink some more before I do. I mix very little in the palette. Most I mix on the paper. I just let this go and I add to it and I add more water to it. And I just keep playing with this until it gets kind of loose and squirrely like I like it. And it starts to look like this unfinished mess, which I really do find intriguing about watercolor. I don't have to finish everything. I don't have to do every blade of grass. I'm going to come back in. I'm going to add a couple of things. I'm just going to add some pieces on the roadway, some sticks and stones and pieces like that. But I'll do that later. I don't need to do that now. And I don't need to paint all the way out to the page. It isn't about this page. It's about this story and this comment. That's my story. That's my style. That's kind of how I learned to paint. How I taught myself to paint, but I really don't know if I taught myself or it really taught me, but here's one area that I mix in right there. Here's the other area. If I'm making a rooster, like I painted a rooster today, and I wanted his legs to be some of that light yellow orange, I'll take a little gamboge and I'll put it in here, and I'll put a little red in there, and then I'll reach up here and get some of this, and I'll mix that around a little bit till I get just the color that I feel like is not gamboge, not orange, but it's an in-between off color that mixes well with my black pen. I'm teaching tonight. It mixes well with my black pen. So I know that because sometimes I'll take a piece of paper, just a scrap piece. If I had a piece, I'd be dangerous. Yeah. Where is it? I'll waste a piece just to prove it to you. If I drew a chicken leg like this, three toes, the middle one's longer, and I wanted that to be my favorite color for chicken leg, I could add a little bit of water just to loosen up that ink. See, it's already beginning to loosen it up a little bit. Then I could go in here and get this premix. It's a little bit of gamboge, it's a little bit of red. I mixed it in here, and then I went up and I got a little French gray, and I put it in there until I got this color right there. Look at that. And I didn't mix it up too much. You can still see the swirls in it. Can you see that? And so now what I'm doing is I'm mixing the pen with the watercolor, because look what's happening. It's giving me, if I want a little more yellow in that, I can go back where the mix is different. I can go get that, and I'll bring it in like this, and that is the perfect color of a chicken leg mixed with the pen ink if I even did it myself. When I realized that the pen was an added on extra color, it got me so excited about watercolor that I was going like, this is outrageous. All right. I'm going down here to my bug out bag because I've had it out and about, and there's what I'm looking for right there. This is a Energel Pentel Energel 07, not 05. This is an 07 needle tip. So now I'm going to do the toenails like this. You know, you got to be fast brained to do this, right? You got to just say, I got to shift gears on a dime, and then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to do some little veining in the feet. And then I'm going to come up here and I'm just going to do some little dots. Look, it's marking on the wet. Is that kind of cool? And so there's a little chicken leg. And then if I come in here, take a little bit of this striping underneath, just some hash marks, cross hatch that way. Then I come in here with my brush, and let's just throw a little green on top of that and watch what happens. If I throw water on it first, watch what happens. It gives me a great shadow. Now this pen has a little bit of a blue bleed. See it right there? And then I'm going to pick up some of that green and I'm going to bring that in, and I'm going to get blue and green together. It's going to give me a little bit of a dirty earth brown. And then I have that drawing, and that's as simple as that. Don't overwork it. We wrestle with it and we go, oh, there's a little spot right here. I have to fill that in. No, let that spot alone. Don't finish that spot. In fact, just mess it up a little bit. Let it be loose. Let it be a loose feather, a feather out of place. Okay, let's go back to the drawing. Got to finish your Christmas painting. Okay, this is dried a little bit, so here's what I'm going to do. Watch, I'm going to take my liner brush. My problem is I just need a brush assistant. You know what I need? I need a surgeon assistant. I need someone that I go like, number 1 rigger, number 3 block. I need a 0 yasatoma. So that's what I need. I make myself laugh. I'm sorry. I'm going to take a little bit of this yasatoma and I'm just going to put a touch of water right here, just in the form of a little star itself. I'm going to go over here to my pan and I'm going to grab some titanium white. I hardly ever use titanium white, but when I need it, there's a little spot right here that I just have it. That's titanium white right next to this dry color that looks like a meteorite hit the earth. It's buff. What is it? It's I think it's buff titanium. Yeah. All right, so I'm getting quite a bit of this. A lot of water in that brush, a lot of water in bamboo. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it right here. Watch. Boop, 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 boop. I didn't paint. I just pecked it in there, okay? Chicken peck. All right. Take the end of your brush, not the painting end, the other end, and then just let it be your brush and just kind of spin that out like this. Look at that. Can you imagine what just happened to that star? Hot diggity dog. And you thought it was hard to paint a star. Okay, now that's going to change a little bit, but I'm not worried about it right now. It's happening just like it's happening. In fact, I'm going to take my liner brush and I'm going to go get a little bit of that titanium and I'm going to put it right here down in the manger, and I'm going to do the same thing because I think that's the real light in this painting. Boom, right there. All right. I'm about to sneeze. Okay. I'm going to grab a little bit of orange because little little peeps have a little bit of orange in their feathers. That's way too much, but I'll pull some of that out and come back with this. Come back in with just a touch. This orange is a little more intense than what I'm used to using. I'm going to get a little more of the number one rigger. I'm going to get a little more of this and come back in here and just create a little more of these ruffled feathers on these little peeps like that right there. They need to be a little more in shock and surprised at what they're seeing. And they realize there's something going on as the whole world did. The wise men were figuring out something's not right. There's a star in the sky. We got to figure out where it is, where it leads. And I think they were probably 2 years after this night when they got there. There's something to read about. Seriously? Yeah, I think so. I think when they found the baby and presented their gifts, the baby was probably 2 years old. I think they'd already been back and living in a house. Maybe already been to Egypt because Herod was trying to kill all the babies 2 and under. So he wasn't sure exactly what had happened. He just felt like he'd been hoodwinked. I love telling the Christmas story, by the way. It's one of my favorites of all time. All right, so there is this little story of something happening, all right? And I'm going to put it aside for a minute and paint something else. So there. Christmas blessings. Love the simple gestures of the stable. Thanks, man. Light and loose. TikTok Jones, thanks for being on the show. Chris Whitaker, Jacqueline Browse. Jacqueline, your art has changed so much in the last few years. It's just fun to see you out doing everything. Just got home from school. What the heck? Oh, man, you're working late, dude. Okay, Vicky Harris, thanks for being on the show. Evelyn Davis Morales, Christmas blessings from Cambria. Is it Cambria, California? Love it, love it, love it, love it. Okay. All right. Thank you guys for being on tonight. It's pretty fun to just have everybody jump on a Tuesday evening. I just wanted to paint some tonight. Let me show you what I've been painting. I'm going to let this dry for a minute, then I'm going to come back to it. So this is the kind of work that I put into a painting every day before I send it out somewhere. Even if I'm working on something like this little chicken leg, I'll come back in here and I'll do some more just little dimples and some little loose little hairs. And I'll do all sorts of things on this. Love me some chicken legs. No, I ain't right, but it's kind of funny, huh? All right, love me some chicken legs. I think this needs a little, if you're not lighthearted when you're painting watercolor, you're working way too hard, or you need to find out what it is you're painting, because it needs to be expressing yourself through color and fun. Even if you're painting flowers, man, I tell you, my daughter has been painting these amazing 100, she's going 100 days in a row where she's painting these scripture verses, and they are just fantastic. Okay, so why did I reach up there and get some really bright gamboge? Because that's where it's going to be attached to the roux. And so I'm just letting it fall in there like that. Look, I'm just pushing the water up into the edge of the paper. And then I'm going to go get a little bit of Payne's Gray and just come right in here like this and punch it right in there just a little bit. I want a little bit of orange on this leg, like right there. Too much. So I'm going to get rid of some of that. Boop, just did. And pull that in like this. I like it when it does that. That's good. And then we kind of go. So there we go. So I beef that up just a little bit more. Come in right here. And I suddenly have the makings of a good chicken leg. All right, now if I can get that soaked in some buttermilk. All right, rolled in some flowers. This is the painting that just sold a few minutes ago. It was a tree today. This is I've painted some of these Christmas ones before. They're some of my favorites. Every now and then I'll think of a new one. But I really love, in fact, I've got a new one I'm going to show you here in just a minute, and I'm going to post tomorrow. And I haven't even written the caption yet. I've got 3 or 4 going through my mind, but leading a little, but I like it. There's a point where you just go, it's a Christmas tree. It came in from outside. It grew under diverse conditions. Let it be a little crooked if it wants to be a little crooked. This, of course, is an engineering problem here. And so, but you got to say, enough is enough. That's it. Here's the one that I just did today. And this is a repaint original. It's a different caption, but you can see it's a giant ball, and you can see a little reflection of the peep inside. Let me see if I can focus that just for you a little bit. There it is. You can see a little reflection right here of the peep himself. And he thinks there's another one in there, and he says, I'm breaking you out on 3. He's got one of my favorite hammers, a little ball peen hammer, and I think I'm going to put a little rust on it. Watch this. Just a little touch of rust right there. Yeah. Okay, nobody's going to see that but me, but I love doing stuff like that. And I think this needs a little bit more grass on it. Let's go back to a focus point here. Just kind of go in here with some extra grass and maybe have some laying down here under it. Maybe 1 or 2 curled up on it like that. All right, and then maybe a couple more little lines in here, maybe a crack in this ball. See that? And maybe a crack here, so he thinks it's going to hatch. So that would be kind of fun. You know how eggs hatch because the little peep pecks his way out. So there it is right there. All right, and then maybe this guy needs some little feathers down in here like this. All right, that's a good little painting. I like it. This is this 4x8? I believe it is. I'd measure it, but oh wait, I know how to tell. Yeah, it's 4x8 because I painted it on. I painted this on fluid paper today. There it is right there, 4x8 fluid paper. Fluid 100 is my favorite paper because it has cotton in it, but they were out, and I chose this strange shape because sometimes it presses me to change the size. I still paint on good paper, 140 pound, good watercolor paper, whether it's cotton or not. Most of mine is cotton paper. Normally I'm painting on the Kilimanjaro 140 pound bright white cotton, pure cotton. I love this paper. But I do like the fact that if I hadn't painted with 4x8 in a while, you could say, silly, all you got to do is cut the paper. And I'm going like, sometimes I don't have time to sew a button back on my shirt. So I'll just, I get them at Goodwill for $3. And I'm thinking my time's worth something. So it's got paint on it anyway. $4. I'll just take it back, get a new shirt, and let somebody else sew the button on. I won't take it back. I throw them away or make rags out of them. All right, let's go. This painting needs a little something else now. Here's what it needs. Watch. I'm going to go back to it. I've showed you 2. I'm going to show you 1 more. I'm going to grab my Yasutoma brush, and I'm going to go in here, and I'm just going to grab a little bit right here, and I'm going to grab a touch of Payne's Gray and just sweep it in like this. So I'm going to pretend that this is a nighttime sky. So I'm just putting some gray back in there like this. Now, why are you putting gray around the star? I'll show you because it's going to make my star pop out just a little bit here in a second when I get some of this up in here. And I'm just flagging this in. Remember, these brushes work like a mop. You just don't have a bucket with them. You got to keep going back to the well a little bit. But I love the fact of what they do. And I love the fact that you can just shadow in here dark on the corners like this and create a little darkness here. And then same with right in here, just maybe a tad right in here like this. I want to clean this bird up a bit. He's still having just a little bit of trouble with his eye. Right there it is. There was a drop of water fell on there a minute ago, and the pen shot out. There we go. Cleaned it up. Okay. And I want to put another person standing right here, and another person here, and I'm going to put one more little tiny lamb right there. I like it. I like it a lot. And then that little manger is fleshed out pretty well right there. I kind of like that. Maybe some people over here milling around who don't know what the heck they're doing. If you want to see people, watch Jason sometimes put in his architectural people. Those are kind of fun. I think he's still painting bridges right now, so that'd be fun to, if he's still doing that. You're still painting. Just got in. I am still painting. Kilimanjaro is my favorite too. Yeah, don't you fall in love? I fall in love with the paper. And by the way, some of you don't know, but I went up there a week ago Monday. No, a week ago. Yeah, a week ago Monday. I went to Boone. I drove up to Appalachian Mountains, Boone, North Carolina, and I went to have lunch and meet with Megan, and I saw Brian there, and I went through the store. And she said, hey, our plans have changed a little bit. Joe called, and Joe's getting on up in the years, and he said he'd love to go to lunch with us today with you. And I said, man, let's do it. And so had just a great lunch sitting with him. Megan took us out to lunch, and it was just spectacular. And we talked about art and how he fell in love with it and has lived in that town all his life and started Cheap Joe's in the back of his father's drugstore. And he found out, hey, I could buy art supplies cheaper if I buy them as a part of the drugstore and just sell art from here. But he was feeding his own habit. And then a friend kind of said to him, you know, everybody here needs art. And this is a college town. And so Cheap Joe's art stuff was started. He said it was Cheap Joe's because I was cheap. And I wanted good art supplies. I love that. That's a great story. It's true. So how fun was it to go to lunch with him and just talk and really pretty awesome. That's it was really, I mean, you know, for over 15 years now, I've been using their supplies on different things because my son was in school there, and so I'd go up there. All right, so now this is dry just a little bit, so watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back and I'm going to just get one of these watercolor pencils, and I'm just going to continue some of those lines out here through this gray that I put in there, just some of them like this. So I've got a little bit of yellow shooting through this just out of the sky. So the whole heavens are lit up with this thing now, and you see where it's going. Now, I've given that white a little time to back off. I'm going to go in and get just a little bit more. I'm going to put one more spot of it right there. And then I'm going to take my handle of my brush again and run it through. And I think I'm done with that star. So there is your star. Let me put a caption on it, and this one is going to be delivered downstairs in just a minute. Of course we're welcome. The sheep are already there. Last thing I'm going to do is grab a little bit of, grab a little bit of Payne's Gray over here. I had a white in my brush, so I just stuck it right in my Payne's Gray. Is what I get for that. And a little bit of this, a pencil, and I'm going to go in here and just give this a little bit of dirt along there, just like that, and some little stones and foibles and warts up through there. And this painting is finished, and there it is. There it is right there. There's a little Christmas story for you. Laura Abbott, thanks for being on the show tonight. Love the sound effects. Yeah, sorry. I love sound effects too. One of our favorite records growing up was a record that I found for my boys. It was called Mouth Sounds. And so it was all like, my boys, oh my gosh, get them together. They still make some crazy sounds. Okay, so that painting's finished. This painting's finished. This one I'm going to post the next day or so. I'm breaking you out on 3. And there's something funny about that. This one sold just a few minutes ago, and I'll write the person's name on the back. And now I got to show you one that I'm working on right now that doesn't have a caption. I painted it a little earlier today. And I painted this one, believe it or not. Here's another little piece of paper I want to throw at you. You're always learning something when you're riding shotgun with Roo. This, of course, is the Strathmore. Strathmore. You get this I wish you could get this at a big box store, but it's one of their more expensive papers, and I ordered it on Amazon, and I think it's about 16 or 18 bucks or something like that. So it's not, but here's a painting I'm working on right here. It's one of my Christmas paintings that I painted years ago that I just sort of retrofitting here a little bit. And this is the one that I painted tonight or earlier this afternoon, and I haven't finished it yet, but you know kind of what it's going to say, and so do I, but I haven't really shaped it. So listen about captions. It's not the first thing you think of. That's usually not the best. Sometimes it is, but it's rare. Usually it's dropping and editing. Sometimes I will actually write it out on another piece of paper. Sometimes it'll just come to me like, boom, I want to say it this way. Sometimes I want to say, that's too many words. I want to get it down to 6. I'd love to get it down to 3, but there's no way we can do this. And sometimes I'll just say, it's 25 words. I'm going to write it all the way around the whole piece. In fact, this would be a great one for that, which I may start here and go up and just go across. And I think that's what I'm going to do. But you know the tradition of mistletoe, right? I mean, everybody does. Every Hallmark movie in the world has the same 5 elements in it. She is unhappy with her job or has to go fire a company, or she's a marketing director. It's always her because she's the one who's put out the most, who's just like, you got to go do it. It's your fault. Somebody's got to fix this. She's the one that we know women can take care of it because they make decisions faster than men. Men go, oh no. And women go, I got it. They go, she packs her bag, the suitcase gets run over by a truck or something. We all know these stories. Somewhere in there's this crazy relationship. Welcome to Hallmark. But there's mistletoe that appears. Well, I didn't want to paint mistletoe. It's just too obvious for Roo. So I did radishes. So I'm thinking that radishes, that's just perfect. You know, the first thing was, the first obvious thing is, look, I was born in a barn, and I know those are radishes, so back off. You know, so I was thinking something like that, but that's not it yet. So I thought, okay, we know what mistletoe means. What does radishes means? And I didn't want it to be an innuendo, and some people take it for a different meaning. And so I haven't exactly decided what it's going to be yet. So here's what happens when I get to a painting like this. I'll let it sit. And I'll think about it a little bit, and I'll go, it'll come to me tomorrow. And I call this, I started doing this in 2010 or 11. I used to say, people go, I don't understand how you know what your roosters are going to say. And I say, sometimes I paint them, and I walk off and leave them. Like I've walked off from this one 5 hours ago. It's plenty dry. I walked off 5 hours ago. I didn't even use a pencil. I just sketched it out with a pen and I just painted it. And I had fun. There's holidays in it. My pen is this black. There's French ultramarine blue, French blue I call it. There's ultramarine here, and French blue here. The radishes are 2 different greens and a little pen bleed. And I left the holidays in them to show that white on radishes. And some of them have the little white roots coming down, which I'm going to add a couple just like this. Look, just pull a couple little of those roots coming down like this with that French gray so you can see them. Oh, man, you probably can't see that, but I'm telling you what, I just changed those radishes. Wait a minute, look at this. Come on. Focus in. Take a look. Those need to go downstairs right now to the dinner and make a salad out of them. Okay, so there's the painting. Look, I'm having fun with you, right? Because I am such a goofball artist that this is storytelling for me. So here's the thing. I'm going to come up with the caption. So I would put my roosters down. Can't slide my hand over it now; it's wet. And I will go tomorrow. Here's what I would say. That rooster will speak, or that hen will speak. And most of the time, she gets the upper hand on the Roo. You know, the thing about my website, which I haven't started yet, but I will someday. I have a Roodoodles website, but I don't have my favorite name that I own, and it's the Farm Bard. That's right. I feel like roosters are my alter ego. They're poets, and I want them to always sort of have that thing. But they always fall a little short. That's why my punchlines that I try to write and my connection to people try to always take a vein of hope, of sentimentality. Is that a word? I don't know. I think I just made it up, but let's put that in the dictionary. I could have said sentimentalness, but that seemed like a lot of shit about that. Or it's just a little bit of that punch in the nose that I got you. It reminds me of that the movie, The Big Fat Greek Wedding, where she said, you might be the head, but the woman is the neck that turns the head. And I just think that's where we live on the block. And so I thank God for women, especially my wife. I just praised her down there to say, I've never met anybody who can plan a menu, execute the hospitality, and pull things together like she can. It blows my mind. And I sous chefed for her this past weekend. And trust me, I thought I'd played in a football game at my age, and they just beat me to death. I drove home a tired man. And then she said, oh, by the way, we got to unload. You got to go get a Christmas tree. And then we're going down to feed the grandkids tonight because we're going like, seriously? I'm thinking maybe I should start doing the splits in yoga. Okay. All right, so there's that painting. I'm going to come up with it. The rooster will speak to me, or the hen will speak to me in the morning. All right, I got to show you something else I'm working on. It's right here. I'm going to cut this painting out now so I don't ruin this other one. So I'm going to get my knife, and I'm going to come right across here like this. Don't try this at home. I am a professional. And by the way, my pocket knives are sharp. That's all I got to say about that. I love this painting. This is a new one for this Christmas. I love it. And everybody's going to look at it and go, oh, come on, it's mistletoe. No, it's radishes. And I want a little bit of Payne's Gray or a little bit of Rust-Oleum on this right here. Let's just get a little bit. I want this right here to just be kind of a rusty piece of baling wire with a couple twists in it. There it is right there. So there we go. Yeah, all right. So I'm going to let that paint. So there's the paintings I've done so far. This one's dry. Take a look at it now, how it's coming together. Look at this. Wow. I'm loving it. See that? I'm loving it. And I'm going to let this alone. I could fuzz it up. I could make it do something else, but I don't have to. It looks the part. And it's got the depth that I wanted because of this line coming down off the hill and it's getting smaller. I've swooped it out this way, and I've swooped it back. All right. Let's paint this one, and then I'm out of here. Got 5 minutes to go. I got nowhere to go tonight, but I know you guys have to go to bed. He slices, he dices. The voice of the hen in the morning. Love it. All right. Oh, dear. I stayed at the Radish in the Inn. You know, for some reason, that hit me funny. I may be punchy tonight. And I'm drinking tea and water. I could have a sip of water, too. My third graders painted Christmas bulbs and left holidays in them. Great job. But in East Tennessee, Jacqueline, we don't call them bulbs. We call them bubs. Okay? I think you know that, don't you? You don't call them. You call them bubs. You call them bubs. And that's like this one right here says, look, I got to go hang the Christmas bubs. See, that's the crab going to hang the Christmas bulbs. Let me just rip him out of there because he's about to fall out now. This, by the way, is another journal that I paint in sometimes when I'm out driving around. This is a crabby journal. This is a handbook journal, and I got the Speedball Art prints this. Speedball, the company, which is, by the way, in Statesville, North Carolina. I just drove through there the other day. Should have stopped and had a word with them. So, but these are good hardback journals that I can throw in my small bag. When I'm out traveling, I've got my bug out bag. I carry a little bag like this. See if I can pull out on that just a little bit. There's a little more shot of it right here, this bag. And it was really made for, well, I guess I could say that. It's really made for handguns. But, man, does it hold some great stuff for me. And I like it. I like it a lot. There's a little crab painting. And this is in East Tennessee, it's like boats. A boat, you know what a boat is? in East Tennessee, a boat is what goes into the hole, and you put a nut on the other end and you tighten things up. I grew up there, so I can talk about it. It's a boat. I need a boat to go in that. And this is a bub. You know, hey, are you going to put bubs around your house? Because you got to get up on the ladder and do it, and it's tough. And then you get near to the chimney and you might fall, and you might fall off. So I grew up in a funny little town, and my elementary school had 1 through 8 grades, and it was only 180 kids. So small town. All right, here we go. Here we go. Watch this. I start painting on this side because I'm right-handed. Do you ever think about things like that? You should if you don't. Because if you start painting over here, then you go over here, then that means you can't touch this and it's awkward. If you're left-handed, start over here. And then you can come back and paint this. So just little things that you need to know. And I don't paint Christmas trees that look like they teach you in 3rd grade that are little triangles made into triangles. You just don't see Christmas trees like that when you're out and about. And if you see it trimmed too perfect, I go, get out of here. I want my Christmas tree to stick out somewhere. I want it to look like it's needing help. All right, so there's my little Christmas tree all bent over. I kind of got it running together there in the middle, but I think I'm just going to have to put up with it now. But I think you can see that it's sort of bent over. Okay, I can change that by just putting down some pieces here, straightening these out a little bit so they're bent down this way. Okay, so, and I like this little green, and I like this little, I almost said Money Penny, but I think she was a James Bond character. I like this little copper penny and green bucket because there's something about the green stand, but I also like old rusty buckets. I think for this painting that should be blue, and I'll tell you why. You were going to think red, but I think I'm going to do it blue because he's not going to be my typical Roo. He's going to be more of a Buff Orpington. And after I said that, I just started painting it red. Isn't that amazing? What the mind will do? Yeah, I just made a mistake. So I'm just going to go back now and paint blue right over that. So I'll get a little bit of a purple. That's fine. I'll take it. Coming around like this. Come down here. Hey, I'm cleaning my brush out. I'm drying my brush off. And then I'm going in and just pull some of this over just like this. Ta-da! And I'm done. See what I did? I'm going to show you this one more time. Watch this. I'm going to show you on this piece of paper. No, I'm going to show you on this piece of paper with the chicken leg. Watch close. We focused right here. Here we go. Here's your Christmas ball. There's a little cap on it. There's a little hook. Bing. Short and spout. All right, here we go. Let's do it in blue again because I think it shows up well. Put a little water in here. We'll just do it like I did the other one. I messed it up. So there's a little red I put in there and I went, ah, shucks. This is an instant replay. All right, come in and get the blue. Come back in here. Grab it like this. Come in. Grab it. Grab it. Grab it. Grab it. Come to about right there, just a tad over halfway. Hear that? Washing my brush out. Dry my brush, almost a dry brush, and now I'm going to take this wet paint and pull it with a dry brush just over to the other side, sort of like this. I'm just pulling it over there, and I'm leaving a little gap in the middle. And look what happened. 2 things happened. The light is coming from this direction. How do I know? Well, because this is the dark side. And by the way, that mistake that I did with red mixed with the pen has made this edge shadow dark already. It gives it more of a sphere look. That's how you paint circles. If you haven't done them in charcoal or pencil, you probably should learn to do that. Because what people do and what art teachers do sometimes, and certainly what kids do, is that they draw one of these and then they just take the color and they color the whole thing in and you go, ah. And then they try to go back and put another color over it. This is not painting oil and acrylic. Your white is in the paper. Leave some white space. Leave a holiday. I taught you a lot tonight, okay, because my painting classes are over except for Patreon. And we dig into this stuff deep once a month. And then today we had Good News Roo. We're painting through the Gospel of John. And I'm telling you, it is so fun. So if you want to know what Patreon is, that's it. All right, so you see what happened here, though? So this is darker, and then I took that dry brush and I pulled the wet over, but it pulls it over lighter. It takes it to a different hue. And because the paper's soaking it up and it's not the heavy pigment, and then I just left this little spot here so it looks like the sun is going shking. All right, So that's exactly what I did to this ball right here. And you can see it like that right there, if I could focus. Hey, Raylene Culberson. I sent you an email. I hope you got it. You boy, I can hear the girls downstairs. Yeah. Yeah, they're down there. They're having their late little Christmas party. All right, so here we go. Christmas bubs. So, Jacqueline, you can't tell them that because you don't want to mess up their language, their English language. But say, hey, my friend from East Tennessee calls these. They're all be going like, it's a Christmas bub, and you'll be think they'll be making fun of other people in other places. So I can do that because I live there. Got to be sensitive to kids these days, don't you? Oh my goodness, yes. Okay, maybe you have to be sensitive to their parents. I don't know. I am wound up tonight, aren't I? All right. Look at that. There's a little peep. Did you see him under the tree? There he is right there. Okay, so now let's do this Roo. Let's get him finished up here because it's already been an hour and I've been on with all you people. Sometimes out in California, it's just, 7 o'clock at night. I'm ready to go to bed. Actually, you know what I got to do tonight? This is Bella Cucina, so I go down and wash dishes starting about 11:45. And so I get in bed about midnight 30 tonight. All right, now what I want to do is I'm going to add a couple more little ticks in here just with my pen. Tick, 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 and there's one tuck. And all right, so there it is. And then I'm going to put I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of veining on the feet right now and the legs. So there's my Roo, and I'm just going to take a little bit of this and bring it down just like that in the shoulder. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to make myself a color, and I'm not sure what color I'm going to make yet. So let's see. I'm going to go right in here in this little clean box. I'm going to have something to mix paint in. I don't do that very often because I mostly mix on the fly. But I'm going to take a little bit of this rose, and I'm going to put it right there. A little of this rose, put it right in here. Yeah, that's kind of nice. I like it. Okay, and then I'm going to pull some of this brown into it. Oh yeah, that's kind of good. And I'm going to get a tad of orange, just a tad right there. Too much. And a little more of this, and now maybe a little more gray. I'm making it up as I go, can you tell? And a little more rose. And then I'm going to see what that does if I come in here like this. I think I need a little darker in there. I think it's got to go a little bit darker. Too dark. So I'm going to wipe that out. That's kind of nice. I kind of like it. Okay, so I'm going to grab some of that rose and come back in here. And I'm going to just go in here and just paint this rooster with a little darker coming back toward his tail. I let it hit in that darker paint, but a little lighter up toward here on his head and shoulders, a little lighter. There it is right there, coming down on the hackle feathers. Got to know the feathers of your rooster. A little darker right in here. Come down with this. And then I want a little bit of red touching out just right here. Maybe somewhere along in his life he crossed over with a Rhode Island red. And got some red in there, a little more red right in here. And so a little beige right here. Beige will come in there nicely. Oh yeah, on top of that, look at that. So what I'm getting to is this, what we call a Buff Orpington. Buff Orpingtons, they look like they weigh about 35 pounds, but in all honesty, they're just about all feathers and fluff. But they are good-natured, good-laying hens. I used to have 30 of them. They ran around outside up in western North Carolina. And so, all right. And I'm going to put a little orange right there on his tail just to catch that. And a little bit of gambos right in top of that right there. The tail gets a little colorful. And then just because I can, I'm just going to take a little bit of violet and drop it right in there like this. You go like, what? Yeah, it's just going to darken that up just a little bit. And there's my Buff Orpington right there. Now, I've already put some cross hatching in here, and I'm just going to go wet that a little bit. And by the way, why do I paint my earth like this? It's become my style. And remember, it's not about me painting every blade of grass. I don't have to say, oh yeah, this is fescue We had that on the lawn. I don't have to do that. I just have to say, there's grass down there, but I do put some grass because it grounds my characters. They just can't be like politicians. Both feet firmly planted in midair. All right, so I'm gonna get a little orange and a little bit of this, a little bit of gamboge up here. Come in, I want these feet just a little more orange in the feet for this Buff Orpington to make them pop. And then a little piece of that orange right there. And then I want him to sort of be having his little foot up like that, and this one hanging down on the bucket. I'm going to put a little rust hole in the bucket right here. Some grass coming up beside this. I got to put some lines on the little ball there, and I got to put toenails on these feet, and I'm going to do this with, you realize I talk fast the whole time I'm doing this show? I bet you guys are just tired of that. I'm sorry. That's hilarious. Sometimes I get tired of me talking, and I'm the one talking, okay? So, but I like to explain what I do as I go, so you'll know there really is, I'm playing with it, but my brain is firing when it does this, and so there's the painting, and I just did that, and went in what, 10 and a half minutes. All right, so I think I have a blue bub. Wait, where's Elvis? Well, I have a blue bub. My dad was a mechanical drawing teacher on a shop tree with him. He would often get in the tree, drill holes in the truck. Oh my gosh, you know what? I did that all the time. Our first trees, I cut down our first 6 years we were married, almost 10 years. I cut down our tree with a pocket knife and a sod buster. And I'd go out and I'd just take maybe some iced tea and a sandwich sometimes, and I'd come home at the end of the day. But sometimes I'd get two little trees, I'd wire them together. Other times I'd bring in one tree that's pretty good, but it'd have some big holes. And I'd bring in the other tree, and I would cut the limbs off, and then I would shave them down and drill a hole in, with a spade bit, and then drive them in and make sure it was trimmed up so it would suck up the water, and they would stay as green as the others. So I did that all the time. I love it. Somebody else did that. My Buff Lola was a sweet hen. See there? You got to love those Buff Orpingtons. Look at this. Did I just get that all over my nose? No, but I was close. Man, oh man. Where did I get white paint all over myself? Oh, holding my palette a minute ago. All right. So, my dad did that too. You know what? I love that. I'm going to tell that story until Jesus takes me home. So it's pretty fun. Let's go. Makes you paint on the fly requires a small and fast paintbrush. That's right. All right. So, hey, I'm going to wrap it up, and I'm going to go steal a piece of dessert. She made something that's close to the baklava range. Oh, man. And what am I doing up here painting with you people when I could be down there eating? Oh, I know why. Because my house is full of women who are laughing and trading Christmas presents. So I have been sequestered. So that's one reason I'm painting tonight. But I actually wanted to just paint on an evening. Have mercy on my California friends. Anybody as far as from the west of the Great Arch. I am blessed by you people. We are Canadians, so we have a lot of weird words to talk about. Eh? Eh? We love Buff Orps. Yeah, me too. I took Martha Stewart a Buff Orpington painting. We went up to the Martha Stewart show back when she did her old TV show. So it is what it is. You try to put paintings out there and let people get a hold of them and have some fun with them. And Kathy Lee Gifford has a couple of my paintings, and so it's always fun to just see who winds up with some of your. She has a couple of my small Christmas paintings. She also has one of my paintings that's the little. She has her own vineyard. She has her wine. So one of my paintings for her is these two little peeps, and he says, couldn't we just squeeze these and drink it? All right, so there's my paintings. Let me show you what they are. This one, by the way, it needs a caption, right? Just perfect. Look, if you were the Roo and your kids decorated a tree like that, what would you say? It's just perfect. Is it a big deal if they didn't get everything symmetrical? Is it a big deal if they may have messed something up somewhere? Is it a big deal if the tree's doubled over or if your dad drilled holes and put limbs in it? No. Is it about the tree, people? Heck no, it's not. It's about people. It's about the gift of what Christmas is and love and what Christmas does. So don't sweat the small things. And what's that line? And it's all small things. All right. Look at that. Put a little of that in there. Let's just get a little purple and drop it right in here like this. Look at that. Might be a touch of red right there and just a little bit over that right there. And just create a little sky. Can you see that wash of a sky? All right. Okay, so here we go. So tonight, let's see, I painted this leg in this beautiful little ball with a holiday. It's called a holiday. Why do you leave it? Because that's the light. First, you got to decide which side you're going to start with. Where's the light coming from? That's why I started with this dark. And by the way, that mistake I made of putting the red paint in probably wasn't a mistake, but it was. But I've seen other artists do it. I've been taught to do it. Here's the one we painted. Of course, you're welcome. The sheep are already there. There it is right there. Here is the one that will be named in the morning. So tune in and see what I name it to. Thank you, Antoinette, and I mailed something to you this week, too. I thank you. And Andrea Neal, it was a treat tonight. I haven't been able to watch lately. Thank you for jumping on. Happy little accident. Yeah, me and Bob. So that's that painting. Here's the painting that sold today. It's a tree, too. Look at this. See? Everything has a theme with me. Leading a little bit, but I like it. There is no perfect art, people. If you're not painting because you think all you're going to make is perfect art, what does Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle say? My book, it says the world is going to miss out on some great art because you're afraid. Stop being afraid and make something. Make a good pie. Don't make fruitcake unless you need to put it behind the truck to keep it from rolling down the hill. And don't be writing me letters and telling me you have a great-grandmother's great recipe. You ever heard Jim Caviezel? Have you ever heard Jim Gaffigan do his thing on cake? Watch it. And you'll laugh. Jim Gaffigan on cake. Look it up tonight. Give yourself a good laugh. Jim Gaffigan on cake. Fruit good, cake good, fruit cake, nasty crap. Okay, so I'm going there, but you need to watch the whole thing. All right, and then this one is the next one. I'm breaking you out on 3. And so sometimes we just don't get life that easy and fast. And so I try to tell stories through my paintings. Radish toe. Don't be picking on my fruitcake now. I'm telling you, Linda, don't be sending me a fruitcake recipe. Don't do it because you're just wasting your 50-cent stamp. Because I don't bake them, don't eat them. My aunt used to bake them and send them to her boys who were in the Navy. And I said, you know why you're doing that? Hey, Maddie, you're doing it because the Navy has found out about them and they're using them to shoot out of their 14-inch guns. And no telling what would happen if somebody got hit with a fruitcake on the other side. The war would probably be over. They go, those people have lost it. Let's run away. So that's how I feel about fruitcakes. You got to have some vices somewhere. Come on. I'm pretty amiable and kind, but when it comes to fruitcakes, you just ruined fruit, and you just ruined a cake. Okay. I mean, dried fruit in a cake? Like, what for? Okay. I'm going to get off that already because I'm just having fun with you. All right. Watercolor pencils. That's what I used. I used a 713, and I used a Royal no name, but it's more of a lemon that I added to it. I would find a 2 or 3 straw, maybe, STRAW, a straw, and a 713 yellow, a 716. Used to have a whole setup here. You can see this is all I have in the entire mugs. These only 2 because I use them for stars. Just because it's so much easier for me to do this and this and this and this and this and this and then paint over it and have my star done and go, whoa, that works. Who thought of that? That guy's a genius. And then grab a little white and drop it in the middle. And then take your end of your brush and just blow it out there a little bit. It's drying so fast on this paper. I'll have to change this paper. Okay, but this is just sketch paper that I keep down here from making messes like this. All right, so there's the paintings. Blessings to you all. Thank you for, I got to go wash dishes in another, about an hour. This is fun. Y'all make me laugh. And sometimes I tell myself a story and both of us laugh. I won't cuss because you're the good young no cake for you. Fruitcake out of a cannon. It's what they're used for. It's not about the cake, but the rum. That is true. You can drink fruitcake. That's what you should do. Just put it in a blender and drink it with the rum. Okay. Or you could cut it in those little logs and soak it with the rum and use it as fire starters. Now we're on to something. All right. Hey, make sure you get the bubs tight on your Christmas tree lights. And I might sell this painting too. It needs to go somewhere. It's got a little rip right here, but I think that'd be fine. It would frame just like about that. That's a cool little painting. And it's a Christmas bub. All right. I'll put that one out as a Christmas bub. So I've got several Christmas paintings that I'm going to turn loose. I'm probably going to paint them for a few more days and get them to people as quickly as I can. As soon as you send me PayPal or Venmo, if you're interested, I'll let you know. And I'm gonna post 2 or 3 tomorrow, so look for some of them to go. There'll be one out in the morning, and then probably later today I'll post a couple more of these. And blessings. Have a great night. Remember the canned bread? Oh, yeah. Yes, I am a nut, Raylene. And Raylene, you got a stack of bees on my desk. Are you still interested? That was my email. So I think you bought them at an auction, and did I hear from you? I don't think so. Send me a note. Tighten those bubs up, people. Keep your bubs tight. All right, I'm out of here like a herd of turtles. Where's my harmonica? I'll play my way out here. I play a Christmas song, but I don't know any. That's all you're going to get of that one. Boom.